Progressives, this is your trigger warning. Hi folks, welcome back. I saw this on Twitter from a gentleman named Hillel Flood, I believe it's pronounced, that makes the case for the current crisis in Israel from the Hamas terrorists in such plain English and so crystal clear that not understanding it or even agreeing with it, I think, makes the level of your stupidity a miracle in itself. Let's read it. Let me say this in the clearest possible terms. If you're concerned with Israel's response, if you're focused on the people of Gaza right now, you're either ignorant or intentionally hypocritical. 2005, Israel handed Gaza over on a silver platter. No occupation, no Israeli presence, and they did. Nothing. 100% theirs. If they wanted anything other than dead Jews, they had the chance. In what world is it normal to demand a country provide water and electricity to its enemy when there is clear evidence they are using those water pipes to create rockets that then kill Israelis? You're worried about the electricity and water in Gaza? You can't provide it. Don't want to? And keep your mouth shut. They have nowhere to go, those poor Palestinians. Why won't they go look at a map? They have a border with Egypt. Let them take them in if they care so much. You notice the Arab countries are silent on Palestinian refugees. Silent because they know they're there just to inflame the situation with Israel. They don't want to take them in. They want to use them and have them die just so they can go against Israel. Let's tell the truth here. Oh, Egypt doesn't want them? Did you hear that? Was my heart breaking for them. Egypt can take them. They don't want them? Not my problem. You're worried about a disproportionate response by Israel. Kindly tell me what a proportionate response would look like. What is a proportionate response in World War II in Europe as the concentration camps were being overrun? You talk about a proportionate response? Interesting how you pick and choose what your proportionate response should be. Because if we did have a proportionate response, if we did what they did to us, that would require the murder, abduction, and sexual assault of over 1,000 people. Is that what you're recommending Israel does? Because that's pretty sick of you. And once and for all, we need to unequivocally reject the false narrative that on Hamas supporters, so Israel has no right to attack Gaza. The Palestinian people elected Hamas. Make up your mind. If you're a people who believe deserve a state, then it's time you held them accountable as a people. They elected Hamas. They will pay for that tragic decision. And that's true, just like the Germans did in World War II when they went along with the Nazis party. The Palestinian people, not 100, 1,000, or 10,000 of them, gave out candies when innocent Jews were murdered. That's true as well. Have you seen thousands of Palestinians speaking out against Hamas? Yeah, the silence is deafening. I haven't. Where are they? Their silence is all I need to know. You hear some of the stuff that Hamas teaches these Palestinian kids in school. You thought American universities were brainwashed. My God, my God. In every war in the history of the world, innocent people die. That fact, as sad as it may be, has zero relevance to whether the war is justified or not. I need to remind you how many innocent Germans died in World War II. Israel is fighting fascists now. Zero difference. In a war, innocent people die. Use the Robert E. Lee quote. For those of you people outside the U.S., he was a general in the Civil War for the South. Said, as good as war is so terrible that we grow too fond of it. And finally, don't come at me with this whole, they can't speak out, Hamas will kill them. Where have we heard that before? I was just following orders. I had no choice. Yeah, remember that one? During the Nuremberg trials? Didn't go over too well, did it? Oh, yes. That was what the fascists said. It was not a legitimate argument then, and it's not a legitimate argument now. What Israel experienced on October 7th was the equivalent of 9/11 times 50. Israel will retaliate accordingly, and it will not stop no matter how much you throw your double standard at us. It's such a double standard, it's a definition of double standard. We not only have every right to do whatever we can to obliterate Hamas, we have a moral obligation to do so. You might not know this now, but a world without Hamas is a safer world for you and your children. If you didn't complain when ISIS was defeated, if you think World War II was justified in order to defeat the fascists, then you can either stand with Israel while we cleanse the world of Hamas savages, or you can go ahead and keep your mouth shut while we do the work from which you will benefit. Yeah, that's the ironic part. With Hamas gone, the Palestinians benefit greatly. And Israel is going to do it for them. How ironic is that? If you have any integrity at all, go and read the charters of Hamas and the PLO. If you're honest, ask yourself from the river to the sea means. Look at a map if you can't figure it out. It means no Israel. Do you support that? Throwing all Israelis into the sea? Because that's what it means. If you are still delusional enough to think they want to stay, go Google the partition plan. They had one. They rejected it. Then Google how many times Israel offered them a state. I remember old enough to remember Yasser Arafat and the PLO. They've offered the Palestinians a state numerous times. And Hamas currently and the old PLO, they just changed the names, all said no. Why? Because they don't want to solve the problem. If they solve the problem and Palestine has their own state and they begin to flourish, they won't need Hamas anymore. Just like here in the United States. If minorities and low-income people started doing well, they would have no use at all for the Progressive Democrat Party. Funny how things end up being the same in different parts of the world. And if, after all that, you still think the Palestinians' agenda is anything other than total genocide of the Jewish people, congratulations. You have earned the privilege of being named a flaming anti-Semitic who supports murder and sexual assault. I'm sure your mother is proud. It's amazing to me, truly amazing. Everything this gentleman said is 110% fact. It's just there's no fat in there. There's no exaggeration. There's no seeing it from my point of view. And anyone that doesn't see what he's saying and understand what he's saying is a level of stupid that's a miracle in itself. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.